welcome to the deep dive. You're probably here because, well, you need to get up to speed on startup fundraising fast, right? Without all the confusing jargon.
Exactly. And you want to know what's actually new, what might, make a real difference.
So today, we're doing just that. We're going to zero in on three seemingly connected initiatives: Crossfuel, XseedR, and XseedR AI.
Yeah, we've looked through their materials. The goal isn't just to list features, but to really understand the core thinking behind them. How are they trying to fix that big challenge of getting funded?
Okay, let's kick things off with Crossfuel. The name kind of gives it away, doesn't it? Teamwork.
Right. It's all about crowdfunding, startups working together, cross-promoting.
And they specifically frame it as an alternative to just, pouring money into paid advertising, which I find quite interesting.
Well, yeah, for a founder, that's a huge shift, isn't it? Moving from just spending cash you might not have to collaborating.
Addresses that massive early-stage marketing cost.
Totally. Instead of fighting for the same eyeballs on ads, you're tapping into each other's established audiences, people who are already engaged.
Okay, so how does it actually work? Let's say I sign up.
So you join the Crossfuel network. They've got this matchmaking engine, seems pretty key. It pairs you up with like 3 to 5 other campaigns. The idea is they have similar target investors.
So relevant audiences.
Exactly. Then they provide pre-built tools, things to make cross-promotion easier.
Like what kind of tools?
Things like, templates for social media shout-outs, maybe email swaps between lists, potentially even joint webinars. It's like that.
Okay, practical stuff. And what about results? Are they claiming this actually works?
Oh, yeah. The numbers they mention are pretty attention-grabbing. They talk about average conversion rates from these promos being somewhere between 5 and 16%.
Wow, that's not insignificant.
No. And they suggest founders might raise between $5,000 and maybe $17,000 per mention.
Per mention, okay.
And crucially, it's not just a one-off boost. You're getting in front of new investors who've already shown interest in similar ventures. Plus, you do it without giving up more equity.
Which is always good news for founders. And they've built features to make this happen smoothly.
Seems like it. There's the matchmaking engine, obviously, but also pre-written promo templates, which I imagine saves a ton of time.
Definitely. No one wants to write marketing copy from scratch constantly.
Right. They also mention a promotion calendar, a scheduler, analytics, an ROI tracker, so you can see what's actually working.
That's important. Tracking the ROI.
Yeah, and even tools for founders to chat and coordinate, plus an optional featured partner thing for, extra boosts.
And who is this actually for?
It seems geared towards active crowdfunding campaigns. The big platforms: WeFunder, Start Engine, Republic, Crowdcube, Kickstarter, Indiegogo.
The usual suspects.
Yeah. And ideally, startups that already have a bit of a following, they suggest maybe 1,000 email subscribers as a good starting point. And maybe most importantly, they stress this give-first mentality. It's not just about taking, it's about contributing to the network.
Right. That makes sense. It needs to be reciprocal. And the curated matchmaking. That sounds better than just a random swap.
Definitely. They're trying to find genuine synergy, which should mean better results than just blasting your campaign everywhere.
Finding those overlaps, like you said, someone into sustainable food might also back sustainable packaging.
Exactly that kind of thing. And for folks just starting their crowdfunding, they have a beta list you can join. First 10 get 30 days free, and importantly, no platform lock-in.
That's good to know. Keep control of your data. Okay, so that's Crossfuel collaborative crowdfunding boosts. Let's switch gears to the bigger picture. XSeed itself. This sounds much broader.
Oh, absolutely. They're not pitching just another platform. They're talking about a, quote, disruptive global fundraising ecosystem.
Ecosystem, big word.
It is. And they even give a little historical context, mentioning Marillion's fan-funded tour back in '97.
Wow, blast from the past.
And Just Giving in 2000. It sort of sets the stage for their ambition, which is frankly huge. They suggest XseedR might even surpass traditional VC funding totals eventually.
That is bold. Okay, so they call it a Fundraising-as-a-Service ecosystem, or FaaS. What does that actually mean in practice?
Think software as a service, but for fundraising.
Yeah.
The idea seems to be in an all-in-one environment. They talk a lot about functionality, security, getting input from experts.
Okay.
And a core piece seems to be this patent-pending AI-powered transaction engine using blockchain.
Oh, blockchain. Knew it would come up.
Right. But the point seems to be efficiency and transparency for the money side of things. A clear shared record of transactions, more trust, maybe faster fund movement.
Eventual benefits, certainly. They mentioned 3 pillars, too. Accountability, transparency, expertise. Let's break those down.
Okay, accountability first. They talk about integrated controls, standard procedures, basically making the whole process fair and open for everyone involved, startups and investors, building trust.
Makes sense. And transparency. That links back to the blockchain.
Exactly, using blockchain and smart contracts to give clear visibility into where the money is going and how it's managed.
Okay, pillar 3, expertise.
Yeah.
This sounds crucial for startups.
Definitely. They aim to provide access within the ecosystem to needed professionals, securities, lawyers, accountants, marketers, videographers, you name it. A kind of one-stop shop for support.
That would be valuable, a curated network.
That's the vision. They even list contact emails for investors, startups, service providers, and a London address and phone number. Gives it a traditional grounding.
But there's a catch.
Well, yeah. The document we saw explicitly says they currently have 0 international securities attorneys, CPAs, or service providers listed.
0. Okay, so the ecosystem is still very much under construction.
Seems that way. The ambition is massive, but the actual network of experts might still be aspirational at this stage. It's something to keep in mind.
Good point. So vision versus current reality. They do have a call to action, though. Become an XseedR.
Yeah, and like Crossfuel, a big join the waitlist button suggests they're actively building and onboarding.
Okay, which brings us logically to XseedR AI. This sounds like the really futuristic part.
It does. They're billing it as the future of startup fundraising. Fully automated, AI-powered, and get this, guaranteed success.
Guaranteed. Okay, that word always makes my ears perk up. How can they guarantee funding?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? They position it as the cure for all the fundraising pain points, the pitching, the rejection, the marketing black hole.
The grind.
Exactly. The core promise is if they accept you into the AI program, they guarantee you hit your funding goal.
Right. So what's the process? How does one get this guarantee?
It's laid out in 4 steps.
Right.
First, you apply. Submit your company details, business model, the works, and there's a $499 application fee.
Okay, a fee up front. Why?
They say it's to filter for serious applicants, people truly committed, and also to cover the cost of their AI evaluation.
Fair enough. What's step 2, the AI part?
Yes. Their proprietary AI chews through your application, comparing it against, tons of data on successful startups and what investors are actually looking for.
Yeah, it spits out
a traffic light result. Red means rejected, but with feedback. Amber means accepted, but you need to make some changes first based on their recommendations. And green means you're in, ready for the automated fundraising.
Green is the magic color here. So if you get green, what happens next? Step 3.
That's where the fully automated promise kicks in. XseedR AI basically takes the reins. AI handles investor targeting, runs automated marketing campaigns, manages investor engagement using data, and apparently deals with compliance end to end.
So the startup steps back.
It sounds like it, yeah. The AI does the heavy lifting.
And step 4 is just money appears. Success delivered.
Pretty much. They say the system is designed to maximize engagement and ensure the campaign hits its target. The fundamental claim is green light equals funding secured.
Wow. Okay, the benefits they list must be pretty compelling then.
They are. No more uncertainty, AI precision using huge data sets, automated marketing saving time and money, access to pre-qualified investors the AI finds, and just a faster, smoother process overall.
And who are they targeting with this? Not every startup, presumably.
No, they specify ambitious, high-growth startups planning to raise in 2025 with a scalable model. Startups that want to skip the traditional fundraising headaches and are ready to trust an AI-driven process.
And like the others, there's a call to action.
Yep, sign up for priority access to the early launch. Fill out the application form.
Okay, so let's try and connect the dots here. Crossfuel, XseedR AI really feels like they're related, part of one larger strategy under the XseedR name.
I think that's a fair assumption. Crossfuel looks like a specific tool for a specific need, boosting active crowdfunding campaigns collaboratively.
Right, more tactical.
XseedR seems to be the grand vision, the overarching ecosystem, aiming for that comprehensive FaaS model, potentially using blockchain, but still maybe building out its resources.
Infrastructure.
And XseedR AI is the bleeding edge offering. Highly automated, AI-driven, making that incredibly bold claim of guaranteed funding, but likely for a very select group of startups that pass their AI screening.
It's fascinating to see the contrast, isn't it? Crossfuel is all about human collaboration, peer-to-peer support.
Community power.
While XseedR AI is almost the opposite. highly automated, data-driven, minimal human interaction in the execution phase, it sounds like.
Exactly. Two very different philosophies aiming at the same problem, making fundraising less painful and more successful for startups.
But the common thread is using technology, whether it's matchmaking tech or advanced AI, and maybe community aspects, to improve things.
Yeah, they're all trying to tackle those known issues, high costs, cold outreach being ineffective, the sheer uncertainty of it all.
And they cater to different needs, right? Crossfuel for active crowdfunders needing a boost. XseedR is the potential future hub, maybe still developing. And XseedR AI for those high-growth companies looking for a faster, guaranteed, albeit selective path.
Precisely. Different tools for different stages or perhaps different types of startups.
So, wrapping this up, we've looked at collaborative cross-promotion with Crossfuel.
The startups helping startups model.
Then the bigger vision of XSeed as a comprehensive ecosystem using blockchain and aiming to offer expert access.
Still maybe a work in progress on the expert side, but ambitious.
And finally, XseedR AI, fully automated, AI-powered, with that attention-grabbing guaranteed funding promise for those who make the cut.
Yeah, a very different tech-first approach.
So the final thought for you, our listener, is this. Looking at these different models, community collaboration, a comprehensive platform, AI automation, which approach feels like it best addresses the real challenges in startup fundraising today?
And maybe more broadly, what do these different paths relying on community versus relying on advanced AI suggest about where startup investing and support might be heading? Something to think about.
Definitely food for thought. Thanks for diving deep with us today.